Good morning, love bugs. Let me get my AirPods so that we don't have all this background noise happening. Okay. So I was on TikTok live this morning finishing up my braids, and I got some really good questions, and so I wanted to make a video based on some of those questions. So I had a few young ladies that were in the chat, and they were talking about how they were like younger, like 15, 12, stuff like that, and that they had started braiding, or they wanted to learn how to braid, or they wanted to get into hairstyling, and what tips I have for them. And I am a person that deals with imposter syndrome a lot, and I am well aware that imposter syndrome 99% of the time really is based on your perception of outside people's perception of you. Sorry, I'm on the freeway. And so I said that to say, one of the pieces of advice that I gave those young ladies was to, practice, and post. And to learn not to take things that people do or say to you personal, because the internet has become a cesspool of negative energy. And no matter what you do, I literally go on blocking sprees all the time. No matter what you do, you're going to run into somebody every now and then that's going to be a little shady. You also have people now, I've noticed there's a lot of people that try to they're very nice, nasty, and so they'll tell you like, oh, no shade, but if you say no shade, it's shade, right? So I always tell people, number one, just because you see somebody do a certain style a certain way doesn't mean that you have to do it exactly like that. Learn what works for you. So for instance, depending on what I'm doing, I don't always braid in one specific direction. I don't braid with one specific hand placement, right? Because how I braid my own head, because I'm working on my person, as opposed to braiding someone and sitting in front of me, is two completely different things. So it's going to cause me to adjust my hands or adjust my arms accordingly. I also have acrylic nails. So braiding with nails, you learn to adjust different than someone that braids without them. Things like that. And so a lot of the time you'll see people, like I know one of the biggest controversies I see a lot is when people get on people about how they start their knotless. So for instance, for myself, I like to start my knotless, the first little like loop or whatever, if that's what you want to call it, like the first little part of the braid, I'm going to add hair immediately when I start. I've seen some people that will plait the hair down once or twice and then they'll add hair. You do what works for you, and you do what works for your client. Now, if you have a client that has thicker hair, then yeah, you might not want to add hair immediately. It's the same thing when you do like a feed-in braid, right? But you have to learn what works for you. And at the end of the day, clients don't care as long as you still reach the same result and their hair is not being damaged in the process. That's pretty much it. And so I brought that up because a lot of the time, like I said, everybody is a specialist on the internet. Everybody is a professional, and not everybody actually even has the talent. They just know what something is supposed to look like until they criticize you based on that. I see little girls all the time that will post a hair video, and the video goes viral for all the wrong reasons. And instead of people trying to teach these young ladies or sewing into them, they make fun of them. So my biggest piece of advice is not necessarily to harden your heart, but learn to dismiss anything that is meant to destroy your peace, because you don't want to let people trick you out of loving your art. And I've been there 1,000,001 times. That's why I always say, like, you have to have a passion for what you do. If you don't, you'll burn out real fast and you'll never want to do it again. And unfortunately, people, including our own people, will suck the life and suck the passion up out of you with no problem. So let's see, another thing was what was somebody else asking me? I'm trying to go through, like, in my mind what people were asking me. I can't really think of anything right now, but if I had to give like another piece of advice, I would always say, like, I'm a firm believer that your hands, as long as you can work with your hands, you'll never be broke. And so whether it's hair, whether it's makeup, whether it's nails, whether it's resume writing, whatever it is, find you a side hustle, because you don't know when that side hustle might be the thing that actually takes you over or be the thing that keeps your lights on. Because nowadays, even if you don't lose your job because you got fired, you may lose your job because the company closes. We saw this happen with the pandemic. So I always find, like, a plan B. That doesn't mean throw away your dream and scrap your dream. But if you aspire to be a hairstylist, that's great. Aspire to be that. But also think about in the back of your head, what else do I like to do? Damn, I had one and I literally just lost it. Darn. Oh, before I forget. Okay. So when I was in beauty school, they were teaching us that we were starting to enter into an industry of specialties, meaning that long gone were the days of the hairstylists that did everything. And so you had a lot of people that specialize in things. And this is my biggest piece of advice, especially when you are entering into a new industry. Find the thing that you are good at, or find the thing that you want to become good at. Work on one thing at a time. A lot of the time you will see people and they will offer everything under the sun. I happen to be one of them people that offer everything under the sun, but it wasn't always like that. So find the thing that you're good at first and work on that. So if all you do is knotless braids, that's fine. That means that you're going to always have, especially with it being, in season right now, get good at the knotless braids. Work on your parting. Work on your feed-in technique. Work on the amount of product and the kind of products that you like working with. Every hair type is different. So what may work for someone who has a finer hair type like mine may not work for someone with thick or coarse hair. You have certain hair types where you can run a flat iron and a press and comb through it 18 times and baby, that hair is resistant. It's not going to do what it do. So you have to find what products and things work. Find what braid hair you like to work with and start there. Then once you master them knotless, then work on your feed-in technique with bohos, where you can add in, or you start to learn to work in the hair, where you start to figure out what kind of hair you actually like to use. And then once you get there, if you decide, I want to start learning how to stitch. Okay, so when you start learning how to stitch, make sure that your actual cornrows are fired first. Because them little parts in the braid don't matter if the cornrow is nasty, if the cornrow is big, or the cornrow is thick. One of the things that I learned is when I took a class with this lady, and what I realized was my technique wasn't off. It was the fact that I was adding too much hair at a time. And then also, depending on the area that you're in, like in LA, we like a thicker braid. They don't like them thicker braids in the South. So you'll see a lot of people with feed-ins and the braid be this thin. It looks fire, but that's not our thing. So you also have to kind of figure out what works for the area that you're in. But if you just focus on one thing at a time, instead of trying to be like a Renaissance woman, your work is going to be a lot more quality. And then a lot of the time, what's another thing? Okay, and then also promote what you want to do. So don't just jump in the game doing everything because this is what people are asking for and you don't have a passion for it. I learned this myself. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that it needs to be a service that you offer if you're not happy with it. Okay, so prime example, like I love doing little kids' hair. I don't like dealing with the parents. Because, for instance, I may have a style in mind and I will love to try that out on a child that I know can sit for me, right? But over the years, in dealing with, people have this thing where they feel like because it's their kid and they have to deal with their kid that the rest of the world has to. And in that, they bring a kid to you that may not be ready. And now instead of you being excited, your excitement has now been transformed into frustration and you don't want to do anything anymore. And that's what happened to me. I actually love little girls' hairstyles, but I don't like working with little girls' parents. And so for me, the passion for that is gone. That's not a service that I offer anymore. But I have colleagues that are amazing kid braiders, and I send them to them. One thing about me is if I don't have a passion for it or I don't enjoy it, I will not do it because I'm not going to give you 110%. My brain then goes to, let me just hurry up and get this about the way. And even if it still looks nice, I'm not going to feel as confident in that because it's not something that I genuinely like to do. When someone comes to me with a ponytail, baby, I'm all in. I got my stuff set up. I'm ready. Those are my favorite things to do. Somebody comes to me with a half down, or somebody comes to me with some stitch braids or something like that. Everything that I offer on my website is things that I like to do. Because that way I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing as I'm working and it shows. Let's see what else. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. I don't care how mad people get with you. I don't care how much people try to gaslight you. I know in our community, Black people have this really bad habit of trying to bully people into saying yes. It doesn't matter. Stick to your guns. If your no is no, it's going to always be a no, and don't let anybody else change it to a yes. period. I don't care if it's a celebrity. I don't care if somebody's offering you more money. People have to respect your no. And another thing that I've learned in this industry as well is I don't give a damn how much extra money someone offers you. If they truly respected your business, they would not be asking you to do anything that you've already expressed that you don't want to do. Whether that's taking somebody late, whether that's working with a child, whether that's working with men, whether that's doing a style that you don't offer or don't like to do. Whatever it is, your no must be a no. And once it's a no, do not let anybody under any circumstances change your no. Because the one time that you let somebody think that they have gotten over on you, not only will they continue to get over on you, but they're going to send other people to get over on you as well. Let's see what else. Oh, it's okay to break up with a client. It is okay to break up with a client, and it is okay to leave people where they have you messed up at. Do not give anybody two chances to play in your face. Once someone plays in your face the first time, that is it. So where I'm at in my career is, if we cannot have a civilized adult conversation, I'm not the hairstylist for you. It's okay if you're not pleased with something. It's okay if you loved your hairstyle, but the next time you'd like it done this way. Maybe you'd like the braids to be a little thicker. Maybe you'd like the braids to be a little longer. Maybe the braids were too heavy this time and you'd like a little less hair used. Or maybe the braids, I got a lot of older clients that want a lot of these hairstyles and then they realize they don't want the braids as long. That's fine. Sometimes, you may have a client, one product does not work for everybody. This is why I tell people, when people ask me, oh, what do you use for this? What do you use for that? There's no one size fits all product. So, like I said, it may be somebody with fine hair like mine that could use thin ass Shine Gem and it still looks the same, but somebody else might need a more thicker product. But at the same time, you also have to be careful because there are clients that are allergic to, they may not be allergic to certain ingredients, but they may be allergic to certain colors. There's things like that. So if a client comes and tells you, hey, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if it's the braid hair or the product, but when you use this, it caused me a little discomfort, or I was really itchy this time, or whatever. Learn to come up with and provide solutions and education for those things instead of getting offended. But at the same time, if someone is not coming to you in a respectful manner, you try to come to some sort of common ground with the situation, and then just agree to go your separate way. So I've had people where the minute that they don't get their way with me, they become very aggressive. I'm not an argumentative person, and because I am a business owner, I'm not going to do the back and forth. I don't fight with clients, things like that, right? However, if you're talking to me in a way that I don't appreciate, we don't need to continue this relationship, and that's okay as well. Like I said, if part of that as well is if people are not respecting the boundaries that you have set for yourself and your business, that's not the client for you. Understand that God did not give you your talent for you to waste it on being frustrated or on dealing with people that you don't want to be bothered with. God gave you your talent to spread love. I always say, if God is love and we are made in God's image and we are of God, our mission is to spread love. And you can spread love and minister through your work, through your art, right? I sit here and I have conversations with my clients all the time. We talk about everything under the sun. If you are not ministering and showing love, if you're not happy with where you are, if you're not happy with who you're working with, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're sitting there and all you can think is, well, I can't stand this lady, I can always get done with this lady's hair. Energy transfers. You're not ministering, you're not spreading love. And it like I said, it may not always show in your work, but you know. And there's always a difference too in when you're in the mood, when you feel like it, when you're well rested, when you're refreshed and ready to go. You can see that difference. And to segue into that as well, another thing is, and I'm still, every now and then I still struggle with this too, you owe it to yourself to rest. You owe it to yourself to rest, and you owe it to yourself to take breaks. I know that a lot of us, we grew up in hustle culture, and so we're taught that you're just supposed to be moving. And as Black women, we have this complex where we feel like if we're sitting down, we're lazy, or we're supposed to be doing something. I do it. Like yesterday, my whole entire day of clients, for some reason, either had to cancel or reschedule. And I honestly feel like that was God's way of telling me that I needed to take a break. But I still didn't sit my ass down. Y'all, I literally cooked all day. No one asked me to, okay? I got up. I made the whole house breakfast, right? Got up, made the whole house breakfast. After I made breakfast, y'all, why I get up in that damn kitchen and start stewing chicken? So I get in there, I'm making brown stew chicken, rice and peas. And then while the brown stew chicken and rice and peas is cooking, I just took my ass back in the damn kitchen and made the kids lunch. I got a whole ass like husband right there. I could have asked for help. I honestly didn't need help. I needed to sit my ass down somewhere. But it's hard because your brain is constantly telling you all the pressure that is put on us as black women. Your brain is constantly telling you, like, I need to be doing something. If I'm sitting still, I'm lazy. Okay, I'm sitting down, but I'm sure something needs to be done somewhere. No. And I'm talking to me while I'm talking to y'all. You owe yourself a break. You owe yourself to rest. I heard someone say this and it's never left me. We owe it to our ancestors to sit the fuck down somewhere. We owe it to our ancestors to rest. Understand that we got great uncles, grandpas, whoever that wished that they could sit down. And if they sat down, they got their asses whooped or they got killed. So we owe it to each other. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our ancestors to sit the hell down somewhere. Okay? Let's see. Another thing is have phone hours. The reason why I say have phone hours, or at least have your phone on D&D, because with like iPhones and stuff now, you know that when your phone is on D&D, it'll tell another iPhone user that your notifications are silenced. Here's why you do that. Burnout is real. And a lot of the time you feel obligated to your clients. This is something that I still struggle with. You feel obligated to your clients. So you don't want anybody to feel ignored. You don't want anybody to feel like you don't want to talk to them or whatever. However, and then have your phone hours listed somewhere so that when people go to like book, they understand like, oh, I texted her after 9. Okay, she's probably not gonna get to me until the morning, whatever it is. And be consistent with that, because a lot of the time I notice with myself, I'll run and jump to answer somebody and then they expect a speedy answer all the time. And what I will do too is like, if it's a new person that's reaching out to me and I don't answer them right away, I will say good morning or good afternoon or whatever, or hello. I apologize for the delay in response. I do not use my phone when I'm with clients. However, and then I answer their question. If it's on an off day, I'll hit them the next day. Hello, you caught me on an off day. Yada, 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 yada. And then I answer within those hours so that they start to understand, oh, okay, so if I text her between this time and this time, I'll get an answer. If I text her between this time and this time and I don't get an answer, she's probably working. Because for me, I do not use my phone when I'm with clients. The only time I use my phone is to turn my music on or change my music. My phone, it'll ring if it's like something with my kids, but other than that, I do not touch my phone. So even though you're not working a 9 to 5, still run your business like a 9 to 5. If you call Target after 11 o'clock, Target's automated system is going to tell you that Target is closed and call them back in the morning if you need a customer service representative, right? So it's the same thing. But like the biggest piece of advice is just from the gate, do not be afraid to assert yourself and do not be afraid to set boundaries. Because always remember, then people will play in your face and then someone else that has stricter rules or whatever, they'll respect theirs. Do not renege on those rules. None of that. And then a lot of the clients that I have, they've been with me for 10 plus years now. So of course I do look out and I'm a little more lenient with the people that have been with me for a long time, but they still respect my business. So if ever I say, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't do that today. Or you know what, like, girl, you know, normally I would take you because you're a little faster than everybody else, but today is tight. I can't take you today if you're late. They understand. They'd be like, oh no, it's cool. No problem. I understand. You know, I had one of my longtime clients cancel on me yesterday because she got called into work. Okay, well, that's the same day cancellation. And while I would love to, you know, work around what you got going on, I don't get to tell my boss, I don't get to tell my landlord, hey, you know, one of my clients canceled today because she went into work last minute, so I don't got the money to pay you. It doesn't work like that. So you still have to every now and then just reinforce those boundaries, and you can do it in a polite manner. So for instance, she asked me like, oh, can I please reschedule to this day? And I told her, look, if you cancel today, it is considered a same day cancellation. You will have to place a new deposit. Okay, is this and this date open? Yes. Can I have that? Sure. Book it on the website. You see how like you can still assert yourself without being rude or being an asshole. Now, segueing into that, another piece of advice that I can give is you are not going to make everybody happy. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible. You will not make everybody happy. It is not a thing, okay? You got to remember, God dropped all of our asses down on this planet, and there are still people that are blaming God for their problems. So you are not bigger than the program, okay? I say that to say, if you know at the end of the day, at the end of that service, whatever it is, at the end of that conversation, that you have done the absolute very best that you are capable of doing, baby, ain't no more for you to do. Okay? There's not no more for you to do. There are a lot of people walking around here that are unhealed, and they have a lot of internalized issues. And then they get to you and they will find, it could be something where you might have looked at your phone and seen something that you didn't like, and you go, and immediately they think that you are huffing and puffing at them, and you don't have a ill feeling towards them. You don't even know them well enough yet. And they will internalize that and make it seem like, oh, she don't even like me. Oh my God, this appointment is going to be like this, and this, and this, whatever. You cannot please people like that. Your job is to do the best that you can do. And what I like to do is I like to create a safe place for my clients, if they are not pleased with something or something needs to be fixed or whatever, that they can tell me and we can work accordingly so that they understand that this is a safe place. That is the most that you can do. If someone is unhappy with something, like their service or something, and they voice that to you, then you ask them, hey, how would you like to fix that? And then you guys work on a happy medium with that. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to like your business. There's going to be some people that come to you from far and they just don't want to drive that far anymore. It is what it is. There's somebody that you may give them everything. You might have done jumps and flips and cartwheels and poured them a mimosa and all kind of shit, and they still don't like you. Baby, that is not your problem. There are people that don't like Target because they feel like Target is too expensive, and they will go to ghetto ass Walmart in a minute. There are people like me that don't like Walmart because Walmart is ghetto, and you have a better customer experience at Target. You are not for everybody, and that is okay. You're not supposed to be. The right clientele will align with what you have going on, with your business, your policies, and your core values, and the quality of your work. So I always say the things that I always focus on is trying to give my clients the best customer experience that I can. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That doesn't mean it always happens, but I really do try. Making sure that I am choosing quality products and that I'm giving my clients a quality experience. Let's see, what else? Making sure that I am knowledgeable about what it is that I'm talking to my clients about, because I like to offer client education at their appointments so that they understand why their hair may be dry. A lot of people feel like they have unmanageable hair, and then once I get them from up under the dryer after a deep condition and they touch it, it's completely different. Why? Because you may not be moisturizing your hair correctly. With your hair type, you may not be using the right products. Also remember that there are some clients that just want to get their hair done. They don't give a damn about hair care. For me personally, that's not my kind of client. My main focus is on growing, cultivating, and nourishing your hair and teaching you how to do so that if something happens to me, look at what happened with COVID. I didn't have any clients that came back with hair loss or broken off hair or messed up hair after COVID, because I had them so gamed up that by the time all of that stuff happened, when they came back to me, their hair was fine. So focus on that. Also, if you do have one of those clients that just want their hair done and they don't care, don't waste your breath. Just, if you can perform the service and you're comfortable with doing so, perform the service. Thank them for coming. Send them all out their way. And then lastly, with this era of social media, this has given people that should not have an opinion or a platform of space to voice their opinion and have a platform. Don't let that get to you. What matters is how those people that get up out of your chair feel. How those people that are talking to you and inquiring before an appointment feel. That's what matters. Do not let the outside world scare you out of, or like I said, trick you out of your craft. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Don't let it bother you. What I do is if somebody says something, we can disagree, but if somebody says something that you can tell is meant to be shady or meant to be hurtful, block. Don't give it a time of day. Don't respond to it. Block it. Whatever people got going on in their personal life that's causing them to be assholes is not your problem, and you do not have to be subject to it, nor do you have to deal with it. Learn to just look at certain shit and be like, oh yeah, no nigga, we're not doing this today. Block. And be done with it. That's it. There's people that love me. There's people that don't love me. There's people that love my work, and there's people that think that I'm not worth what I charge. Guess what? At the end of the day, I don't give a shit. What matters is how I feel about me. What matters is the energy and the time and the dedication that I put into what I do, because only I know what it took for me to get there. And that is my TED Talk for today, y'all. So if you guys have any other questions, if there's any other pieces of advice that you guys want or whatever, please do not hesitate to reach out and ask. I do have some older videos like on my YouTube and stuff like that where I give out like behind the chair advice. I'm so sorry. I know I be scratching my nose. But for some reason, when I get on camera, my nose gets itchy. But yeah, so that is that. I hope you guys all have a beautiful and blessed Monday, and I will talk to y'all later.